Right? First thing I want to say is that this stuff is easy. All right? Allah says it's easy, right? So I'm telling you the truth. It is. People are convincing you that it's not. Or maybe you convince yourself it's not, but it is. What it takes, however, is practice. You can't do anything without practice. So the reason probably many of you have maybe started before and ended is because you didn't practice in the meantime. And that's the only thing it is. So let me start off. Terrible.
Terrible.
I said I'm writing terribly up here. It's too high up.
Brother Imam, are you going to put this online or are you going to?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So this is what I want to do. I'm going to put this Allah Rahim, the name of Allah, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. But what I want to do is just show you the alphabet. So, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it easier is. It's not coming through. Okay. Let's see. Blue marker is another one. I need another one. I guess.
Yes.
And I'm going to put the transliteration underneath it. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to have y'all use a cheat sheet, use the transliteration, because I think that's the easiest one to learn, right? Can you see that? Or do I need to make it? Can you see that? Actually, the luxury of English is that we have capital letters and lowercase letters. And for this, we'll use lowercase letters because it'll help with the pronunciation. That should be a capital K. And I'll tell you the reason why. Anything else? And we'll put that with a lowercase d. That's a capital R. You gotta remember this because that's what I want to make sure heavy that is capital. For the transliteration, now you'll see some of these spelled differently. You might see it with one I instead of two E's. But for our purposes, I'm going to put two E's so you'll pronounce it properly. And these are some lowercase s. And the reason I did that is because this would be a capital S. T as opposed to this lowercase t. Capital Q. And there should be a lowercase k. I'm sorry. Calf, cough, lamb. Noon. Capital H. That's a lowercase y. Hopefully you all can see this, right? The reason I wrote capital letters is because they are hard letters. And you're going to need to pronounce them differently.
Yeah.
So they look kind of young.
Thought.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And down.
No.
Down.
Oh, yeah. Down. There you go. So, I want you all to be able to enunciate this and remember this because it'll help you with your pronunciation. So this is the aleph, right? This is ba, ta, ba. So the difference between this ta and this is ha. So when you have these capital T's, right, a capital H, a capital R, your mouth has to come down when you say it with an A. So the A is called theta. So if you hear me say that, that's the vowel beside. So raw is not ra. I used to say it all the time. My teacher would go crazy on it. I don't know why I just say ra, but it's raw. So it's hard. And sometimes I probably still do it now because it's just something I've been used to. Cough. This is cough like when you cough, except it's in the back of your tongue. This is calf. It's like a calf, like a cow, baby cow. This is cough. You have to use your throat. So with Arabic, you use every part of your vocal cord. So some of the things you've never used before. So you'll have to get used to saying these letters in this way. So if you start off fresh without any this is the name. Without any preconceived ideas, you start off fresh. It's easier to do it that way. So I'll go over it. Aleph, ba, ta, ta, jim, ha. So this is the light ha. This is the heavy one. So this is ha. This is ha, right? Ha, dal, dog, ra, za. It could be za or it might sometimes get a z, but flip flop or zain. Either way, it's still the same. Za, sin, keen, sod, capital, dod, ta, tha, ain, rain. So this is all of these letters in parts of your throat you probably never used before. So when you see a word that says G, it's rain, not just go, but grain, right? That cough. So I remember this by taking a cough, right? This is calf. So this is the heavy one, this is the light one. So cough, calf, lamb, meme, noon, wow, ha, yeah. So if you get those down, you have gotten half of the stuff done, maybe more than half. right? What I want to show you is this, and then I'll show you how these letters at some point. He said,
Oh, what? Interrupted?
yeah, but you're fine. What you need?
I need you.
Hold on 1 second.
30 seconds.
Right, sure.
Where does that come from? Because I don't pick it up in the house.
Right.
That's a cough.
So it's actually a call.
Like you were saying, you use in different parts of your mouth and different parts of your throat. It's really a whole body exercise. You read the Quran, it affects your body. There's certain hadith about you recite the Quran. So this thing affects your whole body. Kul is the two dots above it. Yep, dots, the two dots above it.
Okay.
Then you have, like my name is Kassim. So it would be on the side of Cat. It's softer and it's more forward in your mouth. Cough is further in your throat.
Yes.
I got you.
Cough. What we can also do is if next time we have notes, we can just write down where it is. It's called the makhraj, where you're supposed to say it in your throat, right? So one way to remember the throat letters, the letters that you say that, deep in your throat is the name Allah. Has it. This is what I want you to do. If you could memorize these, right? So people who have already memorized them, have you ever written those down?
No, I put it on my phone.
Okay, so make sure you see these heavy letters are important. When you pronounce them, you pronounce them, your mouth should go down. Ra, Sod, Dod, Ta, Tha, Ha, all of those are heavy letters, right? And these are the light letters, so you say ha, that, ta, that, okay? Alright. So the next thing I wanted to show you is some words, some letters that are similar. They're gonna get you it may get you tricked out when you first start doing it, so I want to make sure you see those. And this is the one that my youngest son always gets mixed up. It's actually easy because a lot of words start with this. So this and this is the lamb. Alright, the difference is the tail, right? So they look the same, they're about the same height, just like Allah, right? So this is the aleph. This is a lamb, this is a lamb. This little W right here is called a shadda, which means it's double L's. And this is the ha at the end of it. And the ha is actually a heavy letter. So if we want to write it out, it'll be it's actually 3 L's. To be honest with you, right? So Allah, right? So those 2 letters look the same, but you'll see the difference. These right here are the lambs, right? This is aleph. It does not connect to anything else. All right, never. It never connects to anything else. So if you see it connected, you know it's a lamb. It's a bunch of these. And you'll get mixed up until you just see it repeatedly.
And there's no coincidences. We don't have coincidences of like happenstance or anything like that. Allah's name is Allah.
Right.
So you see that H is there at the end. Try to practice if
Right.
you don't know
Allah.
how to do it.
That's right, it's heavy.
Put that letter there. It's not there for no reason. So yeah.
Most times people don't say it, and I probably don't say it unless I think about it, but it's Allah. It should end that way. It's a bunch of things that we say, like when he says, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala falah. Alright, so these letters all look alike, right? The difference is 1 dot at the bottom, 2 dots at the top, 3 at the top, 1, 2, right? And those, sometimes people get mixed up with them all the time. These are ba, ta, ta, noon, I like the letter S, so, but some people may. So the only difference is the 3 dots at the top. So seen and sheen. So you say shahada, you'll be using this one. You say, can't think of a word that begins with S. You should be saying, no, salat is salat is the heavy S. That's why, so it really should be solat.
Solat, yeah.
Right. So the word for solat is the heavy S, which is this. Right? And then this is the dog, the heavy D. Your mouth should come down.
So that's with, dog.
Yep. You'll be able, you know how you say darling, right? There's something indicating that you should go that far and hold it that long, right? But we're gonna get into all of that yet. So those letters look similar. Right, subhanallah, that's right. So those letters look alike. So you just gotta remember what you probably should do is just write it down so you can get used to remembering it and reciting it. So the reason I'm telling you about this, and the reason I want to tell you this is easy, is because you see these letters, right? Once you see them, you know how to write down whatever it says in the Quran, because it's only 3 vowels, right? The 3 vowels are the fatha, the kasra, and the dhamma. That's it. So A, E, it might be spelled with I, either one, whichever one is preferable to you, and the U. Right? So it's not difficult at all, right? Because this, what I want to do, what I envision for this is have everybody, after they learn and get used to the alphabets, is take one item and then write it down. One that you really like. Write it down with the definition of it, what it means, and then whatever, you'll be able to recite it. Right? So, okay, I would just do.
Were you trying to get a word with all of it?
No, yeah, I'm trying to get a word. I'm trying to think of something I can use that as. This is what I do. I just do a bunch of different words. What I do, I try to use like my kids' names. Well, actually, what's your name? Dawood. You do. Dawood.
It would be a dumb, so you don't even, it's not an extra.
Is that Dawood?
Huh? It is, it's Dawood, but I'm saying you don't need a letter, you use the vowel.
You can use.
Unless your name has a unique spelling, that's
Right.
I do the D-A-W-U in the English, but I see D-A-O-U-D sometimes. D-O-U-D. Because I think they're trying to do that.
Right.
So this is the light calf. Reminds me of a baby cow, that's the way I remember it. So it looks different when it's at the beginning of the word. It looks like this at the beginning of the word. Like this. I guess like this little thing right here, and you take away the whole line across it. So this is, okay, and this over top of it is an A. And this right here is the scene, so it's an S. And then, right. And then the vowel underneath is an E or an I. You could use an E, it doesn't matter. It's whichever one you prefer. And then casa. right? His first letter is a nun. So you just use the first letter. So that's an N, and on the top of it is an A, and this is the heavy S. Then underneath of it is the I or the E, and actually we do E because this right here, these 2,000 over here, elongates it and make it Nasir. That's how you spell Nasir. My wife's name is Trina, right? So you can do it with English letters as well, unless it has an E in it. You got a problem.
You just have to put that.
Like your shirt. Your shirt that you wore.
Yeah, that's Brooklyn. Yeah.
Yeah, they do that, yeah. So I always have guys that that's just go,
Right. I'm doing Miller first moved over to the UE. He would just post things on Facebook like, "What does this say?"
Right.
Like English words in there.
That would be. So let me do like this. Trina. It's more excellent. Even like, yeah, David, you can't do David, it'll be, the W would be a B. So it'd be David, bro. There's no W in the language. So when you see
or
that,
like literally take it from English.
right, you literally take it from English. You can do that as well, unless it's a word that's not being used. I mean, a letter that's not being used. Okay. So that is B I L A N. So I'm just saying that to say, once you know the letters, anything in the Quran, you can write the transliteration for it and you can pronounce on your own. The only thing you need to know is whether it's a hard S or a soft S. So people might say Nasir, but it's supposed to be Nasir. It's easier to do it, but it's an A after it.
Can you write Abdullah?
Abdullah. Yes.
This is interesting. But also that the way you pronounce the letters matters very much. Like I was saying, Allah has the H at the end, so it's important to make that a thing, to pronounce that as much as you can. Abdullah is servant of Allah, or slave of Allah. Right. Ibadah, that's our worship. That's how we present our servitude to Allah. That's the things that we do to prove that we are, or to show that we are serving Allah. That's how I am. People do write it as A in English, but Ibadah, all of that, that's, you sound it, make it sound funny like that because it's a different letter. It's not an A. As it's presented as a fatah, it's ayin. It's a different pronunciation of it. So when you started it out, you were writing, you wrote that, and that was,
absolutely.
you know.
So,
And that's the same with Ali. They automatically.
right, okay,
It should be the,
Ali is with the iron.
And if you notice, like, if you ever hear somebody that actually speaks
Ali, right.
they pronounce that iron, Ali, you know.
Just like when you say say assalamu alaikum, it's actually supposed to pronounce it. You gotta open your mouth and you say alaikum, but nobody does it. Most people, I guess, we're lazy with the language.
That's
Alaikum. It's not
what we
alaikum.
know any better. Once we learn it.
Right, exactly.
We'll know that some of us are starting.
Exactly.
Yeah, even that, it's just we as a people, we drop off
Well, you
certain
know,
stuff
we
that's
can't
not,
But like I said, once we learn and really practice it, you'll notice that we'll start pronouncing it.
Correct,
Our
yeah.
pronunciation will be a little bit different, and we'll realize, and we'll even, maybe say something to people we know.
Right. But that's the reason I want more people to do this, because then you all be able to correct me, I'll be able to correct you, and we'll be able to learn each together, each one of us. Because if I'm the only one reciting it, then I don't know what it is. I said, for example, his sister told me every time I say sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'm saying it wrong. I left out Allah. I said sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I still do it when I'm not thinking about it. But it's sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But because you're going fast, I don't know what the reason is. You forget to say it. But the more people that are sharp and understand what it's supposed to be said, it'll make it easier. So this is the name of Muhammad. This right here is an M. There's another M right here. So it's M, U. This is the soft H, and then this is the A over top, and it's M right here, and this shadda means it's two M's, so it's two M's. That's an A, and then D. It's Muhammad. So when you learn the vocab, when you learn the letters, it'll become easy to you.
So is there a purposeful reason sometimes when people translate it to Mohammed, M-O?
When Imam Muhammad Muhammad did it, he did it because
To not have the same?
not have the same, but he said that he didn't, there was a time when people were saying Muslims were crazy. So they would use, didn't want to be able to use to say Muhammad, like he's man, and it's crazy. So he spelled it differently for that reason, even though he pronounced it the same way. You'll see.
Sometimes Muhammad is with an E at the end.
Right.
Yeah, well,
But this is the correct way to spell. This is the correct way to say it.
Okay.
No, but he's in the U.
The U.
Some people change it to an O.
Yes.
Right.
But
They should.
It
Should.
So you know that's.
It's an error. It should be moved. That's a U. The dumb one is a U.
Do you think they do that out of respect for the prophet and they don't want to share that? Maybe
Connect
that's-
their bad deeds to his name.
Maybe.
No, but they do that for Omar too. And his name is not Omar. It's Umar. They want to put an O in there somewhere. They like Omar, so they.
No, but I see it like Egyptian brothers, they spell it out Mohammed.
Yeah, it's a dialect thing too. It's depending on where you are in the world.
Are they Arabic speakers though?
Yeah.
So these are the Egyptian
Not
people that
I
are
assume that just because they're from the Middle East, they can Arabic.
Or that is, what is it?
It's correct.
Modern standard Arabic.
Right.
So
So
it
like,
could be
one of the
Egyptian
people-
Arabic, Iranian Arabic.
Right, so one of the people I'm thinking of is Mohammed Salah, S-A-L-A-H, who plays for Liverpool, and he spells it out, and they call him Mo, and he says Mohammed Salah.
Yeah, that's a dialect thing.
Okay.
It's just where you are in the
So
world.
what we learning is the Quranic Arabic. So this is.
Yeah, no, I'm getting ahead of
I'm saying that to say no, because people have different things. I'm saying that to say this is the standard by which everything else is judged. So what I'm giving you is that's right.
I got you.
No matter who else tell you that's wrong, this is right. Right? I may make a mistake, but these rules that I'm telling you is from the Quran. So other people speak different dialects, they do a bunch of different things. That's not from the Quran. Like Sister Jeanette, she speaks Quranic Arabic. She don't know colloquial Arabic. So somebody can come in there and say some words to her she might not know the need, but she can teach them Quranic Arabic. So this right here is the Aleph, and it's always the same all the time. It never changes. Some letters change depending on the beginning. The next one is back. So all you need to look for really in the back is the dot underneath. So like the beginning or the ending, you may see, like for Bismillah. I mean, that's a B all the time. You see that dot underneath the little hook right there? That's the B. All right? The T by itself looks like this, but if it's in the beginning of the word, it's like that. T. So that's the beginning of it. All you're really looking for is those two dots. So once you get the alphabet, you're good to go. Little letters that look different, like I told you, this looks different. That's the soft K, right? In the beginning of the letter, it looks like this. In the middle of it, looks like that as well. But if you have an Ayin looks like this by itself. But when it is in the middle of a word, or the beginning of a word, it's like this. Right? If it's in the middle of a word, however, it looks like this. And Gain is the same way. Gain is just a dot at the top. So it'll look like this, and just have a dot at the top. We think of another letter that looks a little bit different when it's inside of something. Basically all those other ones, let's say, well, I got some other ones that look similar, but you're gonna have to know the distinction between so this, by itself, one dot, two dots. So this is vowel, W basically, this is fa, and this is cough, like coughing. Right. So they look similar as well. But I said all of this, so you just gotta memorize those. Once you get those, you can, the first thing you wanna do is be able to recite them, right? So hello, gata, jim, how, del, ra, zin, short, so, dot, ain, fa, kaf, kaf, lam, mim, nun, how, ra, ya. Then you wanna be able to write them from memory. Right, so the first thing is to remember to recite them, but you also, the most important thing to do is be able to identify them. Because once you're able to do that, once you're able to get the vowels, tell them we're good to go. We are good to go. What you're going to do after that is just move a little bit slower because you won't be able to recite it fast because it's something you training your brain to do. So what the Quran does, it makes you start actually reading from right to left, which is what we do the exact opposite of that. Right? So you got to retrain your brain to look that way. It also has you looking forward when you do recitation. So when you start reciting it, you'll be looking ahead. Let me give you something that Actually, I'm gonna get into one right now. So this right here is the Q, the heavy Q, and that's the U and the L. Qul means say. Right. So what we're gonna do is when we get you all to know the vowels, what I want you all to be able to do is, you may be able to do this by next week. You all just take your time and learn. You know the alphabet yet?
No, but I got the book at
Right.
home. I meant to bring it today, but I'm.
If you learn the alphabets and learn how to identify them, then we can start. You can use one verse. We'll write the verse down and we'll transliterate the entire verse. Once you do that, you can implement that into your prayer immediately. And that's what we're going to do in the entire Quran. It's going to be a slow process at first, but the more you do it, the more you practice, the faster it gets, the easier it gets. So all I'm telling you to do is just don't give up and keep practicing. And whenever you have free time, I have Muslim Pro, right? So a verse comes on every day. So at least once a day I read so I can keep it fresh into my mind. How does the letters look and how to enunciate them, how to pronounce them, because what your mind is also going to be trying to figure out is how your mouth is supposed to be when you say it. Whether it's supposed to be dawed or done, right? So it is not difficult. It's a phonetic language, which means it looks just like how it's supposed to sound. So there will be a few rule changes. Sometimes the N is changed to an M, but other than that, everything you see is how it's supposed to be pronounced. There are no trick words in there like knight and colonel, none of that stuff like that. So once you're able to get those vowels, those consonants down, and you know the three vowels, you'll be able to transliterate anything in the Quran. That's why I want to tell people that it's easy to do, because once I tell you how to do this, the only thing we're going to be doing is practicing. The only thing we're doing is just seeing how fast you can start reciting. Because after that, I can teach you words. We can do that. That's the other thing that we need to know. It's like vocabulary. But other than that, I'll teach you the transliteration. I'll teach you how to read. And then I'll show you how to look it up. We also need a dictionary. So if you get a dictionary, that means also that whatever's in the Quran you can recite, but you can also look up and find out what the word means. So you don't have to rely on me or Yusuf Ali or Muhammad Pickthall, whomever. You can open the dictionary, find out what that word means, and whether I'm saying it wrong, brother, lady, man, but that's not what it means, right? Once you're able to do that, you really have everything in your own court. It's just a matter of time, whether you want to dedicate the time to learn the entire thing. The treasurer before me translated the entire Quran, and I didn't even know he did it, right? But once you get the fundamentals down, you can do that. You can look in the Quran and find out look in the Quranic dictionary, find out what that word means when the vowels are certain ways. Because the vowels, the way they change, tell you what the words mean. For example, this is what I'm going to end it on, because I'm going to be like too long. The Sin, Lam, and the Mim. SLM. Right? If you put MU in front of it, it's Muslim. Right? If you put an I in front of it, it's Islam, or submission to the will of Allah. If you put an A right here and two A's right here, it's peace. If you put two E's right here, it's security. But it all stems from something to do with peace. Right? That's why this religion, that's why this language is preserved, is because of the root words, the words you can look up in the dictionary. As soon as you see SLM, you know it got something to do with peace and security. No matter what it is, it has to do with it. Right? So this is the last one I'm going to show you. I told you Muhammad's name, right? So Muhammad's name, I just write it this way for you. The H, the M, and the D are the root of it. Alhamdu is also the same thing. This means the praised one, the person who is praised. Alhamdulillah means all praise is due to Allah. So when you see the HMD, which will be this, anywhere you see it, you know it has something to do with praise. Right? And that's how you'll be able to start to increase your vocabulary as well. As soon as you see that, you know what that means. Right?
So the root word is the second three words? Second letter?
It's not necessarily. Sometimes. It's not always. It's not always. So
Aaron said it to me, he was like, you use the first, and I was like, okay, well,
now I'm just
going every word.
going to show you all the transliterations. I don't want to go too far into it. So Iqra, Quran, Qari, Qara, all have the same root. Right? So sometimes you see how the letters change. That Q, the R, and then the A after it really, and the A can be changed to an I, but the Q and the R really dictate what this word means.
Okay.
So it can mean read, recite. This is why the Quran is the recitation. That's what it means, right? But you'll start seeing those same letters. You'll see this Qaf, and you see the Ra, and these sometimes change. The last, if it's an Aleph, it'll change sometimes. Like this Aleph, actually, Aleph, right? By itself, you would pronounce it as an A. And this is the same as if it has an A over top, and you pronounce it as an A. But if it has this underneath, you pronounce it as an E. And if it doesn't have it underneath, it has a Dhamma on it, you pronounce it as a U. So those things, so this says an I, but it just changes because it's an Aleph. So the Aleph can be an A, I, or U. It just depends on what volume you have under it. So I don't want to get y'all too off the track by telling you too much at one time, but I do want to show you all how easy and simple it is. It's right here. This, me, la. Actually, it's supposed Bismillah. This is supposed to be two R's. You see that shadda right there? That means two R's. Man. At some point, you'll be able to easily transliterate it for yourself. See why I'm saying what it is. It's actually supposed to have a shadda on it as well. It's supposed to be two R's. See the R right here and the R right here? So it's Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. It's two R's at the end of it. It's at the end of here and the beginning of that one. But you'll be able to do that stuff easily in a couple weeks. Next week, if you really get these letters down, will not be hard at all.
You think I can do that 1 week?
Yes. Absolutely. I think you can. It just depends on how much time you spend. Let's say you spend 30 minutes each day. You'll be able to do it. You'll be able to do it. So you write down those, write down the consonants and the vowels, and you'll be able to do it.